Southern University in Louisiana, Alabama State University, Clark Atlanta University in Georgia, Virginia State University, Hampton University in Virginia, and Bethune-Cookman University in Florida. All 6 of those schools reported threats. Although initial threats have been investigated and the lockdowns lifted, some schools did opt to call off classes and in many cases send students home. The abundance of caution coming one day following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Jason Walker reporting.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
It's Friday. It's Friday night in South Carolina, and that means high school football across the Palmetto State. Welcome to the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. We'll bring you scores and reports from every region of the state with expert analysis from David Shelton and interviews with coaches throughout the night. The High School Scoreboard is proudly brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now, from the Scoreboard Studios in Columbia, here's your host, Phil Kornblut.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the High School Football Scoreboard across the state. Here, the Sports Talk Media Network, and, of course, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Actually coming to you from Atlanta tonight. We're here for the Clemson and Georgia Tech football game tomorrow afternoon. So we've already made our way to the ATL to get ready for that. Back in South Carolina, though, a good night for high school football. Number of teams taking the night off, as we talked with David Shelton earlier tonight on Sports Talk, the fact that region play coming up in the next couple of weeks for teams, so this is a time when they've worked in their bye weeks. But still, very large number of games taking place across the state of South Carolina tonight, and we're here to bring you up to date on all those final scores of games that are in progress. We'll have some reports from folks out across the states, maybe grab a coach or two, and, of course, David Shelton will be joining us a little bit later when he finishes up his work this evening covering the Oceanside Collegiate Ashley Ridge game down in the Charleston area. So looking forward to bringing all that to you tonight. You can always help us out, as you know, looking for those accurate scores. If you can accurately report a score to us, feel free to text it to us, and that text line number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. So, if you can do that, we certainly would appreciate you assisting us tonight in trying to bringing accurate final scores to the state as quickly as possible. As for what we've got so far, let's go ahead and check out some of the final scores that have come in to us tonight. We begin in the upstate, and Abbeville, a big winner tonight over nearby rival 96, 42-7, final score there. As we check out the Midlands tonight, Columbia High with a big win over Great Falls, 37-8. Hunter Connor Tyler puts a number on Denmark Oler, 58-0. In the PD Grand Strand area tonight, couple of final scores. Carvers Bay has beaten Georgetown 27-21. Scotts Branch knocks off Lakeview. That's got to be considered a surprise, I would say. Scotts Branch over Lakeview, 22-18. And Dillon with a big win over Marion tonight, 61-6. In the Low Country, Timberland 29, Kingstree 14. Skis the finals. Lawrence Academy 36, Richard Wynn 22, Williamsburg Academy 40, Thomas Hayward 13. Some other final scores now as we check out other outlets who are posting scores tonight. Check out scores in Football City I-77 corridor, courtesy of WRHI radio up there. On Thursday night, Nation Ford came to Columbia and beat Richland Northeast 56-27. And Catawba Ridge came to Columbia and beat Spring Valley 24-3. Tonight, in the game of the night in Rock Hill, South Point has beaten Northwestern 27-23. Again, final score, South Point beats Northwestern 27-23. So, yes, upset. No one's surprised because these teams are so good it could have gone either way. It went the Stallions' way tonight. They beat the Trojans 27-23. Hope you get more on that game later on in the program. Meantime, Clover, no trouble with York tonight, 47-0. Third quarter score, Hartsville is leading Rock Hill 35-21. In the fourth quarter, Fort Mill over Lancaster 38-7. In the fourth quarter, Saluda 34, Chester 14. Fourth quarter score, Louisville, Fairfield Central deadlocked at 22. Columbia High, as I mentioned, beat Great Falls 37-8. In the third quarter, Andrew Jackson leading Andrews 14-6. In the fourth quarter, it's Buford 49, McBee 24. Fourth quarter score, Chesterfield 35, C.A. Johnson 32. Third quarter, T.L. Hanna 26, Wren 20. Third quarter, Burns with a big lead on Greer 49-9. In the third quarter, Dutch Fork is leading Gray Collegiate. Kind of a tight ball game for a Dutch Fork game. It's Dutch Fork 28, Gray Collegiate 14. Third quarter, one of the other primo games of the night on the schedule, but turning out to be an Irmo blowout at home. The Yellow Jackets all over Carolina Forest, 51-21. Fourth quarter, looks like Sumter, after a loss a couple of weeks ago, a big win last week, and now putting the thumb down on Crestwood, 22-0. Crestwood came into the game undefeated. Sumter up 22-0 in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, Ridgeview, big over Camden, 43-6. Third quarter, Berkeley 23, West Ashley 0. Here's a final. A few years ago, this would have been a dynamic matchup, but not tonight. South Florence bounces back from its loss to Northwestern last week and beats Fort Dorchester 65-7. South Florence over Fort D 65-7. Stratford runs it up on Socastee, makes the ride up the coast over to Socastee, beats the Braves 56-12. In the fourth quarter, Clennon with a 28-14 lead on Chapman. That's Clennon over Chapman, 28-14. In the fourth quarter, an improving Union County team with a sizable lead on Blacksburg, 36-7. Union County on top of Blacksburg, 36-7. Those are the finals we have in, courtesy of WRHI. And some text message scores coming in, and we certainly appreciate it from fans and or coaches sending these in. East Clarendon stays undefeated. They go to 4-0. East Clarendon beats Lakewood 35-14. Moved up in class and won the ball game 35-14. Calhoun Falls Charter defeats the Greenville Hurricanes 32-26. And Woodruff, another big offensive night for the Wolverines. They take care of Woodmont 48-6. Those scores coming off our text message line. Brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance in Columbia. You got a score that you can send us? Feel free to drop it in on our text message line, 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847, to reach us that way and get the scores to us. Let's go ahead and hit the phones and catch up with some of the great reporters covering high school football games across the state tonight. Leading off is the man, the myth, the mystery, Matt Smith, voice of Socastee High School. Smitty, welcome in. Tough night for the Braves tonight. We talked earlier. in the day you thought this might be a big challenge for Socastee. Turned out to be the case.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Stratford. I got to see Dillon up close a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to be a handful, certainly in 3A. And I've got nothing but good things to say about Stratford after I saw them tonight. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and then it only got worse for Socastee from there. It was just one of those nights, 56 points for Stratford in a 56-12 win. And they've got a senior at quarterback, a senior at tailback, and a senior at wide receiver that are all very special. And that receiver, Jaquan Crosby, you know about recruiting. I imagine the colleges are keeping a close eye on him because he's a stud. He scored twice tonight. Malik McGowan, the tailback for Stratford, scored twice. And now through 4 games, the Stratford Knights are averaging 46 points a game, and that includes a loss to Somerville to open the season in what was a really tight contest. So I think Stratford's just a team to keep your eye on this season. They've got one more game, Colleton County, before they head into region play, and I just think they're going to be a load this season for anybody. Socastee, meanwhile, they got a win last week over Aner, but obviously they were never in this one. They play at 4-0 Loris next week, and that is their final non-region tune-up before they get into Region 6 5A play.
You believe that, I could ask David Shelton this question as well, but you believe the Stratford team has a chance to be one of the better teams coming out of the Charleston area?
I think you've got to keep an eye on them because they lost to Somerville 35-30 in a season-opening game. Now, obviously, those two teams not too far apart. They know each other well, and you never know what to take away from an opening game of the season. But then they turned around and handled Daniel and then blistered Fort Dorchester 56-3. And then when I look at their athleticism, their level of talent, and the fact they've got a senior signal caller, a senior tailback, and a senior wide receiver that are all as talented as that, you kind of feel like they're the team that's not going to let go of the rope, that they're going to stay focused throughout region play. So I know it's a tough region, but I just think Stratford is kind of a team to keep an eye on after what I saw tonight.
All right, Smitty, great job as always, my man. Enjoy the South Carolina game tomorrow night. Talk to you next week.
Absolutely, and you enjoy Atlanta.
We will. Already had a good night. Yankees beat the Red Sox, off to a good start. Packers won last night. Yankees won last night. Yankees win tonight. Packers won last night. Corn is red hot right now. Red hot. See if my Atlanta Vikings come through for me tonight. Let's go to Taylor Novinger, voice of Crestwood. The Knights got off to a great start this season, and then they ran into Sumter tonight. And a great defensive effort. We know Sumter can play great defense, Taylor, and they proved it tonight.
Yes, sir, they did, Phil. Sumter really did a really good job running the football. I was real impressed with their O-line, the quarterback, Frank Richardson. I think Sumter may have called the same play just about all night. QB run off the tackles, and Frank Richardson just ran right over the throat of Crestwood. Crestwood just couldn't come up with a stop. Richardson just ran all over the field. And like you said, Sumter defense did a nice job against Crestwood. I mean, they did a nice job against those running backs. Not much room up the middle for anything. If it was there, maybe a 3-yard gain. And Crestwood had a lot of self-inflicted errors, a lot of penalties against them, holding call here or there, and just struggled all night moving the football. It was 8-0 Sumter in the first quarter, and Crestwood got it down to the goal line. They had a 4th and 1 and couldn't convert, and then Sumter went right back down and scored, and they just kept on pounding on the points. Crestwood did a nice job, holding them to 28, because I feel like it should have been a lot bigger margin of victory for Sumter.
So the final turned out to be 28-0. We had it 22-0 in the fourth, but it turned out to be 28-0.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
28-0.
Yes, sir.
So your young running back who had such a terrific start on the season, what kind of night did he have?
He was bouncing out runs to the outside field. He didn't keep it north to south, and I'd say he probably had about 30 yards, maybe 50 yards on the ground. He didn't have his best night. He was too busy trying to hit the big play. I feel like if he just kept it up the middle, it would have been a lot better for him. So this Crestwood team suffers a big loss, and they got to play at South Florence next week. So it's going to be a tough matchup.
Boy, that's tough back-to-back. South Florence blew out Fort D tonight, as you probably know. Okay, Taylor, thank you, man. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Go Gamecocks.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Big win for Sumter tonight. And Gamecocks getting better now week by week. After they took that loss, I think it was in week 2. And now they've bounced back the last 2 weeks and put some big numbers on the board. Very impressive defense tonight as well. Big story of the night, South Point beating Northwestern 27-23. Terrific win there by the Stallions. More on that coming up later. More scores coming up. Be right back.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st, and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners. So the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the high school football scoreboard across the states on the Sports Talk Media Network. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblut here in Atlanta for Clemson and Georgia Tech tomorrow afternoon, but bringing you all the scores from back in South Carolina tonight. We'll have David Shelton joining us in just a little bit. In the meantime, while we wait for more final scores to come in and more reports to come in, I want to welcome to the high school football scoreboard a good friend of the program, a good friend of high school football here in the state of South Carolina, Bob Pauling, former Clemson kicker, but more importantly now the CEO of Mid-Carolina Electric Cooperative, and of course part of the Touchstone Energy Cooperative's All-Star football game coming up in December at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach. Bob is always keeping his eye on the football scene across South Carolina, so welcome in tonight, sir. How are you?
Man, I'm doing wonderful, Phil. I appreciate that introduction. And the biggest deal for me is the North-South game and how much we enjoy that. Just a quick thing, Van O'Kane asked me to come on tonight, and when he sent the text, the previous text on his text thread was actually a video of me giving the Mr. Football to Will Wilson last December, and I saw where Will made a couple really big fourth down conversions against Virginia last week, so it's really neat to have a player that you know and somebody you've known to be successful in the future.
Absolutely. Don't you love it when those guys take that next step and get it done in college or start to get it done as he is as a freshman?
Absolutely. And Adam Randall at Clemson, I got to know him really well when he played the North-South game, I guess, 4 years ago. And he's transitioned into running back, and we've had a really close relationship, my wife Dale and I, with him for many years now. And to see these wonderful young men succeed is really, really, really heartwarming.
Absolutely. And you get a chance to gather with them all at the All-Star practices and speak with them and share some stories and some ideas on life beyond football, which I'm sure each and every one of them who hear that appreciate it. I've heard it, and I appreciate it. And I know you're looking forward to getting with the kids when we get down to the beach the second week of December.
Absolutely, Phil. It's one of the highlights. And the main thing I try to tell these guys is there's some mentor, some teacher, some Sunday school teacher, a dad, an uncle, a granddad that has helped them get to that point in life, and to go back and hug their neck and give them a kiss on the cheek if they're still around, and just thank them for that. And those guys, you see their faces, they're like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. And, I'll send them a text or a phone call or whatever. No, I try to encourage them to go and hug somebody's neck and thank them for preparing them in life and giving them the work ethic and those type things that helps them succeed.
Absolutely. And, of course, work is never ending. It's a year-round chore, a task of love, I guess, for those who are involved in putting on this game in Myrtle Beach. You guys always like to believe it's the best all-star game in the country, and I think it speaks for itself. The folks who come down for the days at the beach and the kids who play in that game, many of whom are getting to the beach for the first time, they take away some lifelong memories.
Absolutely. And matter of fact, personally, one of my dearest friends now, Glenn Martin, he and I played in the North-South game together many decades ago. But it's pretty cool that the Electric Cooperatives took over the premier sponsorship back about 10 or 11 years ago, and we've tried to make it better and better each and every year. But electric cooperatives serve power in all 46 counties in the state, and we're all about the community, and nothing's better for the community than high school football. So that marriage between the electric cooperatives and the North-South game and high school football has really been beneficial for all.
Yeah, I think we all know that here in the state of South Carolina, with all our small towns, our small cities, especially the towns with the single high school, the high school football Friday night, sort of a gathering spot for everybody in the town, and it means a lot. It means a lot to these communities.
Absolutely. I grew up down in St. Matthews, played for St. Matthews High School that later became Calhoun County, but you're right, Phil, in the rural areas, it's a much I guess, more near and dear to their hearts. Like, for example, in Mid-Carolina, our service territory, I think we have 15 or 16 high schools, which makes it a little bit different. We got relationship with them, but it's not like you live in St. Matthews and got Calhoun County High School, or you live in Saluda and you have Saluda High School or whatnot. But again, high school football is one thing that can still teach these young men teamwork and goal setting and how you accomplish things together and those kind of things. So it's still a wonderful thing for these young men to experience.
So do you get a chance on a Friday night to get out to a game in the neighborhood when you have the time?
I try to, but the beautiful thing is we're forced to go out and give the North-South awards to these players. So I'll attend 5 or 6 football games, and I'll try to stay as long as I can over the next several weeks. And but yeah, I try to. We're actually we can get up in the morning and head down to Atlanta, and we'll see what the Tigers can do against those pesky Yellow Jackets tomorrow.
Well, I'm feeling it. I think Clemson has, for the first two games, not going to say stunk it up, but they haven't played to their capabilities. I think they put it together tomorrow. They're going to be missing 4 starters, so that could be an issue. It'd be nice if Antonio Williams could get healthy and get back out there and help them.
Yeah, we need him. He seems like one of the few that doesn't drop balls these days. But anyhow, those guys are playing hard, and they'll probably get it together. And if it's not, at the end of the day, it's just a football game.
Mm-hmm. Last thing, we'll let you go. So far, so good. Fingers crossed. Weather's been good here in the early fall, and that's good for the folks working those lines, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Just about a year ago, we had a pretty severe hurricane come through this neck of the woods, and it put us to work for a few weeks, and something we don't need to experience any time in the near future. But if it comes again, Phil, we're totally prepared for it.
Oh, I know that. Those guys work unbelievably courageously to take care of the business. Hopefully they can relax this football season and get out and enjoy games themselves instead of putting the lights back on for those games. So
absolutely,
we thank you for being with us, and I know the rosters are going to be announced on the 24th, and we'll be doing a lot with that when that comes out, and we'll check back in with you later on in the season.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate you letting me be on the show, and you do a great job supporting North-South game and everything that goes along with it. We really appreciate you. Thanks.
Well, we thank you, and we appreciate everything Touchstone Energy does for that football game. Thank you so much, Bob, for being with us. See you tomorrow in Atlanta. Get there early because the traffic's going to be a mess.
That's what I hear. Safe travels.
Most likely going to be a mess. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Maybe take Marta. I don't know. I thought about taking Marta, but I don't know. We'll be back. Bottom of the hour break. More to come here on the High School Scoreboard.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Signature. President Trump says he will send the National Guard to Memphis to address crime concerns there. He told Fox News the mayor is happy and the governor is happy about the pending deployment. This is SRN News.
Guess who's watching Rob Finnerty on Newsmax? President Trump is. He even says Finnerty's show is so terrific. Millions are joining President Trump to watch Finnerty every night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. All this week, Rob looks at the media's war on President Trump. Rob gives you the facts about the National Guard in cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. He tells you the real truth about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and he reveals the big media's agenda on Trump's health. You need to watch Rob Finnerty on Newsmax. Check out your local cable system. Newsmax is on all major systems. Or download the free Newsmax app. It costs you nothing, and you can watch in minutes. Finnerty is the...
It's week 2 in the NFL, and the Panthers look to improve upon week 1 with another road trip, this time to Arizona to face the Cardinals. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
Can you see that Panthers game?
Oh, yeah. I saw the whole thing.
The squad looks promising.
Sure do. I'm seeing some talent.
They got some pieces for sure.
And they got no quit.
You said it. Oh, what's your name?
Oh, I'm Jake.
I'm Luke. Nice to meet you.
Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
After dropping their season opener at Jacksonville, the Panthers have been working this week to correct their errors in time for this Sunday's matchup at Arizona. Center Austin Corbett is confident they can bounce back against the Cardinals.
We've all done it. We've all been in the system. Or year 2, we're keeping everybody, all these same things as we're watching the tape of the Cardinals game last year. There's a lot of same bodies in this building, so we'll be just fine. And we just got to go execute with their new personnel that they've brought in and just make week 2 significantly different.
Defensively, missed tackles and assignments were part of the issue against the Jaguars. Coach Dave Canales says they've been studying the tape, working on the practice field to quickly address the situations.
Yeah, just being really disciplined about our assignments, and trusting what you see, the reps throughout the week, trying to get any little piece of information that we can on what they're doing, and there are challenges that come with it, and so there are certain rules that come with that as well, on a defensive standpoint, so we got to be disciplined about that.
Last December, the Panthers beat Arizona in overtime 36-30 to knock the Cardinals out of playoff contention. Also, the Panthers lead the all-time series 13-5. Arizona opened their season on the road with a victory at New Orleans 20-13 last weekend. After this weekend's game, the Panthers finally get their home opener against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
Free trial is 7 days. If customer does not cancel prior to the end of a trial period, fees will apply.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
We are back on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblut here in Atlanta, and the plumber Josh Cohen back at our studios in Columbia. David Shelton will be joining us here momentarily. I say momentarily. Anytime now, once he finishes up his work. Final scores from the upstate. Abbeville beat 96, 42-7. Belton Honeypath over Westside, 42-6. Emerald 41, Broome 18. They are in overtime. Chapman and Clennon, 34-34. How about that? Clennon, of course, coming off that loss to Newberry. Burns, big over Greer, 49-9. AC Flora shut out Lawrence, 49-0. Powdersville, 34. Pendleton, 7. St. Joseph's, 49. Pickens, 41. Franklin County of Georgia, 34. West Oak, 7. Woodruff, 48, Woodmont, 6. Union County, 49, Blacksburg, 7. Ware Shoals, 32. Towns County of Georgia, 22. Seneca goes interstate on Walhalla, 75-0. Don't know if they were heading north or south on 75. 75-0 over Walhalla. And it was Liberty, 42, Palmetto, 19. Landrum, 63, Asheville Christian, 13. In the fourth quarter, T.L. Hanna leads Wren 40-27. Greenwood. This one went back and forth, and Greenwood has beaten Lexington 36-30. Just went final. Greenwood over Lexington. The Eagles having a great year. They beat Lexington 36-30. It was Chesney over R.S. Central of North Carolina 28-21. Fountain Inn defeats Carolina High 62-0. And it was Eastside in the fourth quarter. Eastside leading Blue Ridge 56-21. Berea beat Southside 21-12. You have to stay up to date now on scores from the upstate, courtesy WSPA TV in Spartanburg. And so with that, let's get back to fantastic reporters out in the fields tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, making his debut for the 2025 season. You've asked for him, you've demanded him, and here he is, Chris Deering. Okay.
Thank you for the great
Chris
introduction,
Deering.
Mr. Korn.
Chris Deering of the Prep Red Zone. Where you been?
It's been a little busy in these 3.5-hour games that we have every Friday night. Makes it a little difficult to call in.
I understand. We're on to midnight. Just saying. But it's great to have you with us. It's great to have you with us, because I know you're a busy man going to China and going to football games and stuff like that. So we appreciate when we can have you with us. Tell us about your game tonight, River Bluff and Gilbert. How'd that one turn out?
Well, River Bluff won 14-7. It was sort of an old school power football game a little bit. Gilbert came into the game with who would have been their starting quarterback. He's out for a couple of weeks might be out for the season, injured collarbone, it looks like. And so they just sort of lined up in a wildcat and ran Grayson Gunner and Wynn Metz. Both of those guys are really good defensive players, and that they sort of alternated at quarterback tonight. And they just line up and run a wildcat and don't really throw it that much and try to pound it into the ground. And they actually took a 7-0 lead. Wynn Metz scored on a 3-yard run to give them a lead, but River Bluff came right back down after that score and got a 4-yard touchdown pass from Braden Moore to Hayden Myers to tie it up 7-7 at the half. And then the second half was all about the defenses. It was a sort of a stalemate. They were putting the ball back and forth, and then on a 3rd and long, River Bluff aired it out with Braden Moore, and he found Darius Carter down the sideline. And Darius Carter, he mossed the kid. There's no other way to say it. He got it, jumped over the kid, caught the ball, the kid fell down, and he took it 76 yards to the house, and that was the winning touchdown. Carter's a pretty good receiver. He's got several G5 offers from some schools. I think he finished with about 135 yards receiving tonight. So he's a pretty talented player. They need to get him more involved a little bit. And then he came back in on defense at the end of the game when Gilbert was trying to throw the ball and come back and tie the game. And Carter got the game-ending interception to seal the thing. So really big night for Darius Carter and River Bluff.
Sounds like it. So far in the first, three, I can't remember, week 3, week 4, whatever we happen to be in, which team in the Midlands has impressed you the most? Besides Dutch Fork, which team in the Midlands has impressed you the most?
Dutch Fork hasn't beaten people like we expected, I don't believe. They had a tough one with Ridgeview last week. Ridgeview, they played back-to-back games against Northwestern and Dutch Fork, and both of them were 7-point games. So, I hear they've beaten Camden tonight pretty handedly. So that Ridgeview team is really good. It sounds like, Dutch Fork's good. Don't get me wrong. Now, I'm not saying that the time has passed Dutch Fork, but I think a lot of their games have been closer than some people thought they might be. So I think, just looking at scores and, obviously haven't seen everybody just yet, but this AC Flora team looks like they're really good in 4A. Gray Collegiate sort of hanging with Dutch Fork tonight at the half. I hadn't seen any score since that one. I think as the balance is here, there's a lot of good teams. I was very surprised to see Lexington go up to Greenwood and give them a tight game to the end. So it's going to be a lot of good football in this area when we get into region play, and then when we get to the postseason, some of these teams have a chance to really make a run, I think.
Newberry's another one if you consider them Midlands.
Yeah, Newberry.
They beat Chapin tonight 45-22.
Newberry next couple of weeks here, because I do want to see Kenton Caldwell and what he's doing up there. He's putting up huge numbers week after week. That's the quarterback. He's got a lot of talented receivers, including the tight end that's going to South Carolina. So he's got a lot of talented guys around him. So, yeah, I definitely want to see that Newberry team.
Who do you have next week?
Next week, I'm debating, but more than likely it's going to be South Point and AC Flora.
Ooh, that should be a good one.
That should be a good one, yes.
That should be a good one. Well, it's great hearing from you. Thank you so much. I know you've tried to get through during the season, and lines have been tied up, so I get that. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week, I do hope.
Yes, sir. We're trying to make it work.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Chris Deering, Prep Red Zone, with the report of the win tonight. Okay, let me give you the some more scores from the Midlands. AC Flora over Lawrence, 49-0. Westwood 65, Airport 7. Silver Bluff 55, Blackville Hill to nothing. Ridgeview 56, Camden 13. That's big win for Ridgeview. Ben Lippen 44, Cardinal Newman nothing. Irmo. Did he mention Irmo? If he didn't, we should have. Irmo 51, Carolina Forest 21. Newberry 45, Chapin 22. Hunter Connor Tyler 58, Denmark Oler nothing. Dutch Fork 42, Gray Collegiate 14. Columbia 37, Great Falls 8. River Bluff 14, Gilbert 7. Hammond edges Heathwood Hall 9-7. How about that? Fairfield Central in a tight one over Louisville, 29-22. May River beat Brooklyn Casey, 36-29. Swansea 28, Pillion 27. Lawrence Academy 36, Richard Wynn 22. Saluda 34, Chester 14. Eau Claire beat Williston Elko 32-7. Scores courtesy WLTX TV in Columbia. There you go with scores around the Midlands. We head to a story here on Carolina Academy. Ford Simmons joining us here on the high school scoreboard. And Ford, welcome in. How are you?
I am excellent, Phil. Appreciate you letting me get on. I am a Carolina Academy homer. My cousin plays for them, so I wanted to give you a call in and report.
Sure.
They won tonight. They won tonight 41-18. It was a very close ball game in the first half. Both teams were just running it up and down the field. And it really broke out in the second half when Carolina Academy just ran the ball down their throats. Luke Cook, number one, had 4 touchdowns on the night. And it was just a really good ball game on both teams' part. But I will say, I don't know his name. His number is number 21 for St. John's, but I've never seen someone run so fast at that division in Skeeza. So it was a very interesting ball game, but I'm happy my Bobcats pulled out the win. I want to give a shout out to my cousin Chandler Prosser, who had a 70-yard fake touchdown run. So thanks for having me on, Phil.
Give me that score one more time, if you would, Ford.
Yeah, 41-18.
41-18, Carolina Academy over St. John's Christian. Man, we appreciate you calling. Please call again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Great hearing from you. Okay, Carolina Academy over St. John's Christian, 41-18. Let's welcome in David Shelton as he's wrapped up his duties in the Low Country tonight, so he joins us. He was at Oceanside Collegiate and Ashley Ridge tonight. So first of all, welcome, David. Great to have you with us. Before we turn our attention to other games, tell us about yours.
Well, it was a pretty good game. The final score was 35-21, but Oceanside won. Ashley Ridge led 14-0 after the first quarter. Their running back, Ryan Campbell, a senior, I don't know if he's going to make an all-star game, but holy cow, he is good. And had a 92-yard run and finished with about 160 yards. Got a little dinged up, didn't play the second quarter. Ashley Ridge threw a couple of picks in the end zone. If they scored there, they put the game away, but they let Oceanside hang around. And Oceanside really had a good fourth quarter. Terrence Johnson, their receiver, their running back, Mikey Muncie, and Aiden Manavian, their quarterback, they all had really good games. But it was 35-21, but it felt a lot closer. But Ashley Ridge is going to go back and look at the turnovers and just kick themselves in the butt because they really should have been up 28-7 at halftime, and instead it was 14-7, and you just kind of felt Oceanside struggling early on offense, but they're just too good. They're going to get it going, and they got it going and won the game, and they're going to host Dutch Fork next week, so good luck with that.
Yeah, really enjoy this one. Hey, you know what? Just had Chris Deering on, and even though Dutch Fork is winning every week, he said they have not been destroying people like we've come to learn. So maybe this will be a good one down there.
Yeah, I think Oceanside has enough weapons to put some pressure on that Dutch Fork defense. They're not. I mean, they're winning, and they're still the best team in the state, but they're not killing people like a lot of people thought. You know, there was a lot of talk in the summer that they were going to be better than they were last year, and I don't think that's the case right now. But I think by the end of the year, Dutch Fork's going to be Dutch Fork, and you know, I say it every year: just follow Dutch Fork when they get to November, because that's when they get it going. So, but I got on just to hear that St. John's Christian Carolina Academy report, and the little running back at St. John's Christian, he was talking about his name, Dor, D-O-R, Reichley, and I'm telling you, he can go. He is a really good football player. And you know, I don't know if you saw this, but Jerry Brown is now the coach at St. John's. He was hired Monday as the interim coach, and Bruce Ellington is on his staff. So they had 4 days to get ready, and you know, they let the coach go, and kind of a weird situation. But Jerry Brown is back in the game.
That is awesome, and he's got one of his all-time great players working for him. That is fantastic. Hey, before we go to the break, and we got folks standing by to give us reports, quick comment on South Point beating Northwestern tonight up in Football City. Must have been a heck of a ball game.
What was the score?
You're asking me what was the score? 27-23 Stallions.
Wow, yeah. Well, they finally got that offense going, and that's that kind of shocks me a little bit. I thought Northwestern was going to win the game, just because I think South Point is still developing their offense. But you know, they got a defense, and they held Northwestern to their lowest point total of the season so far. So if South Point gets an offense, consistent offense, with that defense they have, they're going to be hard to beat for you.
Okay, David, stand by. After the break, we'll catch up with more reporters who are waiting to tell us about their games. We've got Thomas Grant standing by. He won't have a whole lot to say about the offense between Hammond and Heathwood Hall. Not a whole lot of scoring in that one. Garrett Mitchell will, because Woodruff put up another big number tonight. And Hugh Gray, all they do is win, win, win at Newberry. Got all that coming up. We'll see if we can squeeze that in before the top of the hour break. We'll be back just a moment. Don't go away.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosseller-Brown. Did you know Lawyer Lisa offers a prevention plan add-on to our services? If you already have a trust or just need some updates, ask about getting your ducks in a row and getting all of your wishes set out before it's needed. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Has your credit seen better days? At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. That's why we offer personal and auto loans that help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that sees more than just a number. You don't need perfect credit to start your next chapter. Visit foundersfcu.com or a local office today. Founders, helping you do life on your terms. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. David Shelton is with us, and he's listening in and standing by for more comments. But we got terrific reporters waiting to jump on board, including the voice of Newberry, Hugh Gray, as those Bulldogs win again tonight. And Hugh, welcome in. Tell us about the effort tonight by Newberry. They pick up another win, 45-22 over Chapin.
Yeah, Phil got it going early tonight. First play of the game. The kickoff had gone deep into Newberry territory. That didn't matter. Kenton Caldwell hits Jameer Crooks on a little swing pass, and Jameer takes it 94 yards for the score. Chapin then gets the ball and drives on Newberry, gets down inside the 5, but turns it over on downs. And a few plays later, Kenton Caldwell, quarterback for Newberry, calls his own number, goes 49 yards for the score. A little bit later, Chapin had fumbled the ball on their own 40. Jamel House catches a short pass from Kenton Caldwell, and he goes 46 yards for the score. It's 21-0 at that point. Then Chapin got on the board with a really nice play from quarterback Aiden Black to tight end Jessup Bolware. It's 21-7. Newberry's next possession, Kenton Caldwell throws a nice lob about 45 yards to one of his receivers, gets down deep in the red zone, and Eric Rubio kicks a field goal. First play of the second quarter, and so it's at that point 24-7. Newberry gets another touchdown when Kenton Caldwell had broken off a 60-yard run down to the red zone, and then hits Jameer Crooks again for a 15-yard touchdown. It's 31-7, and just before the end of the half, with just a few seconds to go, Newberry had gotten backed up with a punt, and Chapin gets a safety, so it's 31-9 at the half. Both teams kind of share touchdowns in the second half to make it the final score 45-22, but Kenton Caldwell, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown on the night, and just it almost seemed like a ho-hum game for him. But a really big win for the Bulldogs. Chapin had taken 4 in a row of these, so Bulldogs really excited to get a win tonight.
I bet. Who they have next week?
Fairfield Central. So was that a final with the Fairfield Central-Louisville game you had a while ago?
I believe so. Let me double check. It was a good one. 29-22 is the final that we have.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Newberry has Fairfield Central here at Mike Ware Field. Come on up.
You got it. Yeah, I'd love to. Then who would do the scoreboard? I'd be stuck up there.
We'll find a place for you.
You got it, my man. Thank you. Talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks,
Great
sir.
job by
Bye-bye.
Newberry. Thank you. Newberry continues to roll. We continue to roll. Let's go next on the scoreboard to Thomas Grant, Hammond, and Heathwood Hall, 9-7. The Skyhawks win it. Not used to defensive battles in these kind of games, Thomas. Usually, well, with Hammond in particular, usually it's an offensive blowout.
Well, Hammond has sort of been trying to find his identity offensively, but tonight in particular, you got to give credit to Heathwood Hall. I mean, right from the get-go, they came out really aggressive defensively. In fact, the first play of the game, Jackson Moore was able to force a fumble on Levi Myers, which ended up setting up Heathwood Hall's only touchdown of the game on a 27-yard touchdown run by Patrick Belt that made it 7-0. And for the most part, it stayed that way until with 16.9 seconds left in the second quarter. Quarterback Ben Kaiser was able to score from a yard out after a 13-yard run to cap a 80-yard drive. And that made it 7-6 at the half because Hammond had missed the extra point. And from that point on, it for the most part was just a defensive battle. In particular, Hammond's side, you had guys like Jackson Ross, who, by the way, the scout coaches from Vanderbilt were at the game checking him out. Also, John Stokes was there, was playing. Both of those guys were really making plays all over the field to keep Hammond in the game, with the offense trying to find its way, except for the most part, their passing game was struggling. The most only success they really had was on the ground. But on the flip side, you had Heathwood Hall, who was also real aggressive in holding Hammond in terms of shutting down their passing game. And for the most part, it seemed like on fourth down, they had stopped Hammond on fourth down with less than 2 minutes left, and it appeared that they were able to run out the clock. But then Jackson Ross and Stokes came through with a couple of sacks on belt to force a punt from their own 50, and then that's when Hammond decided to do the sort of switcheroo where Kaiser switched to wide receiver, and the wide receiver, Cade Emil, with a freshman, he ended up playing quarterback. And sure enough, it ended up working where they were able to hook up on a couple of pass plays, one of which ended up setting up the game-winning field goal by the guy who, for the most part, was getting watched by a lot of coaches tonight, Jackson Ross, from 36 yards with about 5.9 seconds left. With 8 seconds left to give Hammond the 9-7 lead. And fittingly, as Heathwood Hall, as time expired and they tried to went into the California Bears drill in terms of throwing laterals all over the place, it was Ross who made the final tackle to end the game, and Hammond was able to extend their winning streak to 27. Also, there was their 21st straight win over Heathwood Hall.
Ooh, 27 in a row, and they do it in the final seconds. Thank you, Thomas. Top of the hour. We'll be back.
Hi, this is Sal from Grow Your Garden with Sal. Every Saturday at 8 a.m. on The Point, we'll give you tips on gardening and planting while showcasing local farms. Join us here Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor. A suspect is in custody in the Charlie Kirk assassination. He's been identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox says the assassination suspect had grown more political.
In the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had.
Cox also said that the bullet casings discovered by investigators had several inscriptions engraved on them. One read, "Hey fascist, catch. I'm Haya Panjwani."
Vice President J.D. Vance transported Charlie Kirk's casket to his home state of Arizona aboard Air Force Two.
The vice president honored his close friend and political ally with a final flight aboard his military aircraft. Vance and his wife flew with Kirk's widow, Erica, from Salt Lake City to Phoenix. Earlier, the vice president helped carry Kirk's casket with a group of uniformed service members as it was loaded onto the plane.
White House correspondent Greg Cluxton. Missouri Republicans have handed President Trump a political victory.
The Republican-led Missouri Senate has approved a redistricting plan that could help Republicans win an additional U.S. House seat in next year's elections. Having already passed the Missouri House, the Senate vote sends the measure to Republican Governor Mike Keogh, who's expected to sign it into law. However, opponents have announced a referendum petition that, if successful, could force a statewide vote on the new map. Missouri is the third state to take up redistricting this year. I'm Mike Hempen.
President Trump says he will send the National Guard to Memphis to address crime concerns there. He told Fox News Friday that the mayor is happy and the governor is happy about the pending deployment. Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee confirming that he is coming and planned to speak with the president to work out the details. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor.
Guess who's watching Rob Finnerty on Newsmax? President Trump is. He even says Finnerty's show is so terrific. Millions are joining President Trump to watch Finnerty every night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. All this week, Rob looks at the media's war on President Trump. Rob gives you the facts about the National Guard in cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. He tells you the real truth about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and he reveals the big media's agenda on Trump's health. You need to watch Rob Finnerty on Newsmax. Check out your local cable system. Newsmax is on all major systems. Or download the free Newsmax app. It costs you nothing, and you can watch in minutes. Finnerty is the fastest growing primetime news show in America. Find out why even President Trump is tuning in. More than 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for news they can trust. Because we are real news for real people.
Brazil's former president has been convicted and sentenced for trying to overturn his election loss.
A panel of justices convicted former President Jair Bolsonaro of attempting a coup after he lost his re-election bid in 2022. They sentenced him to more than 27 years in prison, setting off street celebrations by Bolsonaro opponents. But count President Trump among those very unhappy.
I thought he was a good president of Brazil, and it's very surprising that could happen. That's very much like they tried to do with me, but they didn't get away with it.
Bolsonaro is currently under house arrest in Brasilia. He can appeal. I'm Ben Thomas.
The governors of Arizona, Illinois, Maine, and North Carolina have signed orders intended to make the COVID-19 vaccines available in pharmacies for people without individual prescriptions. At least a dozen states have taken similar steps this month as the season's version of the vaccine becomes available. Breaking news and analysis found at townhall.com.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. Please press button now. No, number 1.
It's Friday night in South Carolina, and that means high school football across the Palmetto State. Welcome to the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. We'll bring you scores and reports from every region of the state with expert analysis from David Shelton and interviews with coaches throughout the night. The High School Scoreboard is proudly brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now, from the Scoreboard Studios in Columbia, here's your host, Phil Kornblut.
We are back on the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. All across the state of South Carolina, just like Founders, is the High School Football Scoreboard. David Shelton is with us. We got more reports coming your way, and we're continuing to update the scores from across the state as these games go final. Let me run through the final scores that we have in thus far. Try to fill in these blanks as best as possible. In the upstate, Abbeville 42, 96-7. Belton Honeypath 42, Westside 6. Berea 21, Southside 12. Eastside 42, Blue Ridge 21. Emerald 41, Broome 18. Fountain Inn 62, Carolina nothing. Got to find a final on that Burns and Greer ball game. I'm sure I've got one here somewhere. Give me just a second, and I'll see if I can pull that up. It's not on my sheet, but I'd like to be able to put that score out there. Oh, there it is. Let's see here. Burns big over Greer tonight, 49-3. So give Burns a big win over Greer tonight, 49-3. Fountain Inn 62, Carolina nothing. Chesney 28, RS Central of North Carolina 21. Let's see if we've got a final on the Clinton and Chapman game. That one had been really tight, tighter than maybe you thought it was going to be in the preseason. Let's see if we got a final. It's in overtime, and Clinton does win it over Chapman 40-34. So they had to go to overtime. Couple of tough weeks for Clinton, losing last week and winning tonight 40-34, but Red Devils got it done at home 40-34 with that win tonight. And it was Calhoun Falls 32, Greenville Hurricanes 28. And let me fill in the final here on this Greenwood and Lexington game. I know it went final. And Greenwood won this one. It was a heck of a ball game. A lot of points both ways, and Greenwood wins it 36-30. And they stay undefeated, and they're having a sweet year. Whitmire, Greenwood Christian, got to find that one. Meantime, Landrum over Asheville Christian, 63-13. AC Flora shut out Lawrence, 49-0. Liberty over Palmetto, 42-19. Mountain View Prep and Crescent. Saw that score a moment ago. Let me go back and find it. Here it is, MVP. What a great name for a school, MVP. 41-19, MVP beats Crescent. And so they continue to roll, even though their best running back took off for North Carolina after last season. That would be the Tar Heels. Powdersville 36, Pendleton 7. Okay, we have an update. Is this score correct, or did I? No. I think I wrote something in here wrong. So Seneca beat Walhalla 75-0. And then it looks like St. Joseph's beat Pickens 49-41. Let me double check that because I had that 41 in a different line on my sheet. I want to make sure I got that right. Let me double check here very quickly. Pickens, St. Joseph's 49-41 over Pickens. So we got that one. We got that one finalized. Wren and T.L. Hanna. See if we can get that one finalized here while we're going through these scores. High-scoring game. Hanna wins it 40-27 over Wren. So Hanna getting the offense going tonight over Wren. They win it 40-27. It's Ware Shoals 32, Towns County of Georgia 22, Union County 49, Blacksburg 7. And let me see if we can get this West Oak score as a final. See if that's come up anywhere. Don't have that one just yet. West Oak and Franklin County of Georgia. Woodruff, big over Woodmont, 48-6. Football City, Corridor 70, I-77. We've got Saluda beating Chester, 34-14. South Point over Northwestern, 27-23. And I know we got more finals than that, so give me just a moment here. From tonight up that way, Clover over York, 47-0. Rock Hill went down to Hartsville, lost 56-38. Red Foxes over Rock Hill, 56-38. Fort Mill beat Lancaster, 38-7. Saluda downed Chester, 34-14. Fairfield Central beat Louisville, 29-22. Columbia over Great Falls, 37-8. Andrew Jackson downed Andrews, 21-6. Buford topped McBee, 49-30. Chesterfield over C.A. Johnson, 39-38. Let's see what else we have up that way. I think that might be it for scores in that part of the state. Let's go to the Midlands. And we've got May River over Brooklyn Casey, 36-29. Columbia over Great Falls, 37-8. Fairfield Central over Louisville, 29-22. Dutch Fork, 42. Gray Collegiate, 14. Hunter Conard Tyler, 58. Denmark Oler, nothing. Irmo, 51. Carolina Forest, 21. East Clarendon, 35. Lakewood, 14. Newberry, 45. Chapin, 22. Ridgeview, 56. Camden, 13. River Bluff, 14. Gilbert, 7. Sumter, 28. Crestwood, nothing. Swansea, 28. Pillion, 27. Westwood, 65. Airport, 7. Couple of games from last night in the Midlands area. Catawba Ridge beat Spring Valley 24-3. Nation Ford over Richland Northeast 56-27. Let's see if we can fill in a couple of these other Midlands games that we haven't gotten down on our score sheet, but we can find them here in just a moment and go ahead and count them as finals. Let's see, Keenan and Blythewood. No, we don't have a final on that one yet. Let's see about Lower Richland and Batesburg-Leesville if we have a final there. I think we had a final on that one earlier. And let's see if we can pull that up very quickly. Lower Richland and nope, don't have a final on that one yet either. And let's see. We'll go on to the CSRA. Silver Bluff over Blackville Hilda, 55-0. South Aiken beat Barnwell, 49-0. Eau Claire over Williston Elko, 32-7. Around the PD Grand Strand, Aner over Green Sea Floyd's, 38-6. Cheraw beat Darlington, 13-7. Carvers Bay, 27. Georgetown, 21. As I mentioned, Hartsville, big over Rock Hill, 56-38. How about Scotts Branch beating Lakeview 22-18? Dillon 61, Marion 6, Stratford 56, Socastee 12. We'll talk to David about Stratford in just a moment, because Matt Smith had nothing but good things to say about the Knights. Low Country, Oceanside Collegiate rallied to beat Ashley Ridge 35-21. Berkeley shut out West Ashley 30-0. South Florence 65, Fort Dorchester 7. Lucy Beckham 35, Hanahan 7. Hilton Head 59, Hardyville 12. Timberland 29, Kingstree 14. Skeeza, Ben Lippen 44, Cardinal Newman nothing. Orangeburg Prep 41, Clarendon Hall nothing. Hammond with a last-second field goal beat Heathwood Hall 9-7. Lawrence Academy 36, Richard Wynn 22. Carolina Academy 41, St. John's Christian 18, and Williamsburg Academy 40, Thomas Hayward 13. So we're still working to get final scores plotted, and we'll get those scores to you as we can get our eyes on them, and they are finalized. David Shelton, how about that Stratford team? Matt Smith had nothing but good things to say about the Knights, and that they're going to be a team to reckon with down the road here.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a good quarterback, you can beat a lot of teams, and they got a really good one. It's going to Liberty. They also got the running back from Goose Creek that is a big-time player, and that helps him offensively. Got a veteran offensive line. You know, play pretty good defense. That's got to get better. I mean, beating Socastee is a win, but it's not a huge feather in their cap. They got Berkeley here in a couple of weeks, and that'll be really probably the winner of that game. May end up winning that region.
All right, back to reporters, and we appreciate your patience as we ran through the scores. I believe Garrett Mitchell is up with us first. Woodruff, another big offensive night tonight. Garrett, they continue to roll. How'd they do it tonight? Air, land, or both?
Well, Phil, I tell you what, it was an air raid performance tonight for the Wolverines early on, and you know, it was one of those things where we had seen the passing game had been integrated more and more back into the offense. The further we've gotten into the season, of course, Woodruff breaking in new quarterback Connor Davis and 5 new starters on the offensive line. And so the first 2 games against Clinton and Fountain Inn were probably a little more run-heavy behind 4-star running back Aiden Gibson. Last week was a little bit more of the pass being featured. This week, I believe Woodruff probably passed the ball in their first 6 or 7 plays of the ball game and really didn't look back. It was 20-0. The Wolverines blitzed Woodmont right out of the gate. It was 20-0 after 1 quarter. It was, I believe the score at halftime was 27-0, Phil. 34-6 at the end of the third quarter, and the final score was 48-6. But Woodruff quarterback Connor Davis, sensational night in his 4th ever varsity start. 329 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in the air. He rushed for, and I haven't added the numbers up yet, roughly 60 yards rushing and 2 more scores on the ground. And he got the ball out to an entire bevy of playmakers. Just an impressive offensive night for Woodruff.
Tell me more about the quarterback. Is this somebody that they have been bringing along slowly, and now he's starting to show his stuff?
Well, so Connor is a Woodruff. He's a homegrown kid. I would even say he has a great championship bloodline. His dad was actually a starter on Woodruff's 1983 and 84 state championship teams, which were, of course, the last 2 teams in Woodruff to win the title. But this young man has waited his turn. He's a junior, and he's got a big arm, a big frame. He's about 6'2", 215 pounds. So he's really hard to bring down when he runs the ball, but has a big arm as well. And so it wasn't as if Woodruff was not throwing the ball in their first 3 games. They just incrementally increased the number of times that they've thrown it with each passing game, and Connor has looked better and better doing it. This young man is on his way to a really big season.
You think that kind of gives them the balance, right, with Gibson, the running back, and this quarterback emerging, kind of gives them that nice offensive balance?
That's exactly right. And tonight, and Gibson, what people who have never seen Aiden Gibson play don't understand is that he's just as good of a receiver as he is a running back. Tonight, Gibson had 119 yards rushing and a touchdown. He also had 68 yards receiving. And so Woodruff will line him up out wide. They'll put him in the slot. And they've got another running back, also a junior. This young man's name is Jalen Lyles. Lyles is kind of the lightning to Gibson's thunder. And Lyles, I believe, was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 65, 70 yards rushing tonight as well. He added a 13-yard touchdown run. And so the offensive balance and the amount of playmakers Woodruff has around Davis, it's really, as this team gets more and more experience under their belt, it's going to just be harder and harder for teams to really stand up to them for 4 quarters.
All right, they continue to roll. Who do you have next week?
Next week, Woodruff is back at home. It will be the 51st incarnation of the Battle of 221, and that would, of course, be Woodruff versus Chesney.
All right, I love it. I love it. Garrett, thank you so much, man. I'll talk to you next week. Good hearing from you.
Sounds like a winner, Phil. You have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. Thank you very much. Okay. David, Woodruff sounds more and more dangerous by the week. Did we lose David? I say David. Woodruff sounds more and more dangerous by the week. We may have lost him. Okay, let's reconnect with him when we can. In the meantime, is that David? Hey.
Hello? Hey. I got a call I had to take.
What is more important than the high school scoreboard, David Shelton?
That call was pretty important. So,
okay. I won't pry.
If somebody calls you after 11 o'clock at night, it's usually pretty important.
I get it.
We're good now.
I get it. Except when we call a high school coach, and he does take our call, even though he knows it's not all that important. Well, the break is starting. I was going to ask you to talk about Woodruff. We'll do that on the other side. And Kevin Selman standing by to tell us about the TL Hanna win tonight. Richard Sally will join us with the story on OP. We're updating more scores as well, including Northside Christian beating Andrew Jackson Academy 30-20. That final score. And we got other finals we'll be telling you about when we come back. Don't go away.
Maybe your credit's seen better days, or maybe it's just never been quite where you want it to be. At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. Things don't always go according to plan. But that doesn't mean your goals are out of reach. Whether it's a car to get to work or a little extra breathing room in your budget, we offer personal and auto loans to help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that treats you like a person, not a number. We take the time to understand because you don't need a perfect credit score to start your next chapter. Visit a local Founders office or foundersfcu.com to learn more. Founders, helping you do life on your terms, helping you build a brighter financial future. All it takes is one visit to foundersfcu.com to get you started. Relax. You've got this with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina. South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in South Carolina. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the SCHSL and the South Carolina Athletic Administrators Association.
Okay, we are back on the high school scoreboard. Franklin County of Georgia did beat West Oak 34-7. We've gotten a final score on that one, so we can put that one to bed. And trying to close out our upstate sheet with just a couple of more final scores that we're trying to find. In the meantime, David Shelton back with us off the phone. And I was going to ask you about Woodruff. They seem to be getting better by the week. Now they've got a kind of a hot quarterback to go with that terrific running back they have.
Yeah, I mean, I would say right now that them and Newberry are the teams in South Carolina that people better open their eyes and take a look at as we get into November. I mean, they could end up playing in the state championship game against each other because Newberry's playing exceptionally well. Woodruff is just rolling up points. They're very balanced. I mean, those two teams, I mean, they're top 5 teams in 3A right now. And, we'll see how it plays out if, injuries happen and stupid stuff. But Woodruff is an upper state, power. I mean, they're a contender for sure.
David, I've gotten a score sent to us here on our text line. Our text line number 803-900-4847. Appreciate the calls and the numbers coming in here. The scores: Bluffton beat Hampton County tonight, 31-7. I know Bluffton's pretty good. Hampton County's pretty good. That was more one-sided, I think, than we expected.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Bluffton was the better team because. What they do offensively, you just don't see a lot. Hampton County does not play a lot of teams that do what they do, and unless you got some really good corners and safeties, Bluffton's going to score some points because their quarterback and their 2 receivers are really good.
Yeah, got the kid that's committed to North Carolina. We talked about him earlier tonight. North Augusta beat Strom Thurmond 37-13. Orangeburg Prep over Clarendon Hall tonight, 41-0. Okay, back to reporters. We appreciate it. Let's go to Kevin Selman, voice of TL Hanna. And a nice win tonight. Looks like you guys have kind of got the offense back in order. Great to have you with us.
Hey, Phil, thanks for having us. Yeah, it was another good win tonight for the Yellow Jackets, and for the second straight week, we had a cross-county rival game against Wren, who's just up the road from us, up Highway 81, but a big night for the Jackets. Started off a little bit slow, fell behind 6-0. We led 14-13 at half, and then in the second half just really pulled away, outscoring the Hurricanes 26-7 in the second half to finish with a 40-27 win. A big night on the ground for the Jackets, as always, over 300 yards rushing. Amari Nance, our starting running back, had 12 carries for 113 yards and 4 touchdowns. We did have a lengthy delay in the game tonight for an injury. Our quarterback, Gavin Megan, got hurt and was out on the field, and he had to be taken off in an ambulance. From what I'm hearing, everything's okay, but it caused about a 20-minute delay. But that being said, that hopefully everything will be fine. And but a good win for the Jackets.
Boy, you hate to hear that about your quarterback, and you certainly wish him the best, but you have to kind of think forward. And what's the quarterback situation behind him?
Well, we got a junior quarterback, Will Mayfield, he came in tonight and played well. Had a couple of missed snaps with the center. It was kind of odd because you had your backup quarterback in late in the game, and then we had our starting center have some issues with cramps tonight, so he was in and out. So we had a backup center and a backup quarterback in, and in the wing tee, that's not a good recipe. But it ended up working out. Will actually came in and threw a 14-yard touchdown pass, 1-for-1 for 14 yards to Walker Kelly, who's committed to Wofford. And the Jackets, like I said, end up pulling away in the end. And just hope that everybody's ready, because next week is set up for probably one of the biggest games in the state, a big Region 1 5A matchup. We host Greenwood next week.
Oh, and they're playing great, and you guys seem to have it in high gear. That should be a dandy. And we thank you, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow over here in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. We'll see you tomorrow, Phil.
Thank you, pal. Great job as always. We appreciate it. All right, Kevin Selman with the report there. Some more finals from the Midlands now, some games we haven't mentioned. Bishop England beat Dreer 49-0. Blythewood over Keenan 41-6. Chesterfield topped C.A. Johnson 49-38. Dixie 41. Clear Charter 26. Eau Claire beat Wilson Elko 32-7. And Lower Richland, here's that score. Lower Richland over Batesburg Leesville 28-6. Ridge Spring Minetta 22. American Leadership 0. Lawrence Academy 36. Richard Wynn 22. And we'll be back. More of the Scoreboard coming up.
Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
With SRN News, I'm Ron Taylor. Authorities have arrested a 22-year-old Utah man in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Governor Spencer Cox announcing the arrest of Tyler Robinson in Wednesday's killing of Kirk during an outdoor debate at Utah Valley University. Authorities say Robinson, a student at a different college, was taken into custody Thursday night. Robinson's father recognized him from images released by authorities and encouraged him to turn himself in. Cox says Robinson's family said he had been critical of Kirk. The Missouri Senate has passed a plan backed by President Trump that could help Republicans win an additional U.S. House seat. The Senate's vote Friday sends the measure to Republican Governor Mike Kehoe for his expected signature. The president says he will send the National Guard to Memphis to address crime concerns there. The president told Fox News Friday that the mayor is happy and the governor is happy about the pending deployment. Bill Lee confirming the deployment coming, and he said he will speak to the president. This is SRN News.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with the point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
It's week 2 in the NFL, and the Panthers look to improve upon week 1 with another road trip, this time to Arizona to face the Cardinals. I'm Jim Zoke with a Panthers update after this.
Hey, you see that Panthers game?
Oh, yeah, I saw the whole thing.
The squad looks promising.
Sure do. I'm seeing some talent.
They got some pieces for sure.
And they got no quit.
You said it. Oh, what's your name?
Oh, I'm Jake.
I'm Luke. Nice to meet you.
Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
After dropping their season opener at Jacksonville, the Panthers have been working this week to correct their errors in time for this Sunday's matchup at Arizona. Center Austin Corbett is confident they can bounce back against the Cardinals.
We've all done it. We've all been in the system. Our year two, we're keeping everybody, all these same things as we're watching the tape of the Cardinals game last year. There's a lot of same bodies in this building, so we'll be just fine. And we just got to go execute with their new personnel that they've brought in and just make week two significantly different.
Defensively, missed tackles and assignments were part of the issue against the Jaguars. Coach Dave Canales says they've been studying the tape, working on the practice field to quickly address the situations.
Yeah, just being really disciplined about our assignments, and trusting what you see, the reps throughout the week, trying to get any little piece of information that we can on what they're doing, and there are challenges that come with it, and so there are certain rules that come with that as well, on a defensive standpoint, so we got to be disciplined about that.
Last December, the Panthers beat Arizona in overtime 36-30 to knock the Cardinals out of playoff contention. Also, the Panthers lead the all-time series 13-5. Arizona opened their season on the road with a victory at New Orleans 20-13 last weekend. After this weekend's game, the Panthers finally get their home opener against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
Someone will be right with you. Please continue to hold. The Point.
Okay, we're back. High School Scoreboard here on the Sports Talk Media Network, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. David Shelton, what's your favorite fight song? What is your favorite college football fight song?
That one you just played.
Really? You like that one?
Yeah, because that is Berkeley's fight song.
Oh.
My father.
So it's personal to you.
Yeah, Chris Deary and I went to Berkeley, and we know the words to our fight song.
Go ahead and give us a little rendition.
No, that's okay.
I can give you Phil's favorite fight song.
That's my second favorite.
That's good. That's good, Plummer. I know it's not the Florida fight song. Okay, to give you some finals here from the Low Country. And we've got Oceanside Collegiate beat Ashley Ridge, as David told us, 35-21. Philip Simmons, Interstate on Military Magnet, 71-0. I-71 for Philip Simmons. Where's that run, I-71? Is that up near Cincinnati? Not sure. Bishop England shut out Dreer, 48-0. St. James beat Wando, 21-14. South Florence over Fort Dorchester, 65-7. How about Fort D? What's happened there?
They lost a lot of players to the transfer portal.
Ooh.
As a matter of fact, at the Ashley Ridge Oceanside game tonight, I think, if I counted right, it was 8 or 9 Fort Dorchester former players playing in the game with the two teams.
Oh,
so there you go.
That's got to hurt. That
hurt Goose Creek, and that hurt Fort Dorchester tremendously.
Well, Beaufort beat Goose Creek tonight, 33-27. Lucy Beckham over Hanahan, 35-7. How good's that big offensive tackle? Ty Johnson, I think it is, at Lucy Beckham. Got a chance?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with him.
Okay. He's a big guy visiting South Carolina tomorrow for their football game, making some visits and starting to get some notoriety on the recruiting front. So, but he's a big guy, and always helps to be big if you're going to
I'll tell you what, St. James needs to petition to get into the conference down here because they lost 14 games in a row, and on back-to-back weeks, they beat Lucy Beckham and Wando to win 2 games. I'm at a loss for words. I not about St. James winning, but I don't know how Lucy Beckham and Wando expect to be, players in the end if they can't win games like this.
Yeah, right. You're right. I have breaking news out of the PD, David. The Latta Vikings, the home of champions and scholars and superior athletes, stay undefeated, defeating Mullins tonight. It was a tough one on the road. You just don't go into Mullins and walk through the auctioneers. They out-yelled them 22-20, 22-20. Vikings undefeated. We have no thoughts on that? I leave you speechless? I shall continue. David has no words. He can talk all night about his alma mater.
It's possible he took another call. We're not really sure.
Okay. Well, I know where we fit in with him. Academic Magnet beat Baptist Hill 29-22. Dorchester Academy over Patrick Henry 28-14. Woodland beat Well Branch 28-14. Trinity Collegiate over First Baptist 41-14. James Island topped Cane Bay 34-14. Colleton County over Stall 31-18. And Pinewood Prep over Camden something. Camden Military. Okay, thank you. He's back 56-6. Stratford beat Socastee 56-12. You didn't comment on the fact that the Latta Vikings rolled into Mullins and came away a 22-20 victor to stay undefeated.
Yeah, I did, but I accidentally hit my mute button, so you couldn't hear what I said.
Well, probably just as well, but say.
I think what I said was good for Latta. They beat Mullins. They got bigger games coming down the road.
Oh yes, they do.
But they are. I mean, they're good in Class A. I mean, they're going to be in that lower state mix.
Yeah, I meant to ask you about Scotts Branch beating Lakeview. I mean, that's a bit of a surprise, is it not?
How about Scotts? Yeah, Scotts Branch beat Manning a couple of weeks ago. And, now, and then they beat Lakeview. I mean, that's Patrick Fleming has done a well of a job there, and they're going to win some more games. They got some athletes, and harking back to the days of Leonard Johnson with hammer right, hammer left, and maybe we'll see.
Hammer right, hammer left, and hammer up the middle. You forgot the hammer up the middle part. Yeah. Okay, back to our reporters. Appreciate you guys hanging on with us. Next up, we go to Richard Sally. Orangeburg Prep tonight in Skeeza action. Find out what happened in this one as I search for my score. So go ahead, Richard, take it away. Fill us in on your game.
All right, Phil, the Orangeburg Prep Indians went up to Somerton to face Clarendon Hall in Skeeza Region 2 play. Those Vanderbilt coaches are making the most of their trip to Columbia because they were in town to see their commit T. Riley, and he didn't disappoint. 7:57 to go in the first quarter. Sophomore quarterback Charlie Williams hits T on a 62-yard touchdown pass. The extra point had a bad snap, and T is the holder, so 8-0 Orangeburg Prep after the first touchdown. 2:49 to go in the first quarter. Jasiri Parker runs a 32-yard touchdown to make the score after Charlie Williams is kicked 15-0. 10:45 to go in the second quarter. Charlie Williams to T. Riley on an 11-yard touchdown pass. Kicks good, 22-0. 6:46 in the second. Blake Anabnett on the 1-yard run, making it 28-0. 5:06 to go in the second quarter. Jasiri Parker again on a 1-yard run, 34-0. And then the last 5 seconds to go in the first half, Blake Anabnett on a 4-yard run to make it 41-0. Had a continuous clock there in the second half. So 41-0 OP, 3 wins in a row after that loss to Wilson Hall in the season opener. Have a couple of big region games coming up. Next week, Greenwood Christian, and the following week, Calhoun Academy.
And T. Riley is the man. Boy, what an athlete he is. And he's holding steadfast to that Vandy commitment, huh? Nobody's trying to pry him away?
Not we can tell. And apparently he's leaving in January for an early go. So looks like it's pretty firm.
All right. Well, you guys, I know you're glad to have him for the rest of this football season because he's doing some great things, and so are you guys. And thank you for the report, and we'll talk to you next week.
Hey, Phil, I got one other score that I hadn't heard you call in yet. Colleton Prep edged Calhoun Academy 34-28.
Colleton Prep 34 and Calhoun Academy 28.
That's correct.
Got it. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
34-28. Make sure I get this down. Colleton Prep 34, Calhoun Academy 28. Thank you, Richard Sally. Appreciate that. Double dip there. Always good. Let's go to Monty Dutton. Story on Clinton tonight in a tight one. Bouncing back from the loss. They get a win tonight, but it was a tough one. Oh, you had to work overtime tonight, Monty, with the Red Devils.
It was a really great game, and Clinton was the odds did not favor the Red Devils in overtime. Clinton led the whole game, but Chapman tied it. In overtime, Clinton scored right off the bat on a 10-yard run up the middle by Zy Butler, but they had some mix-ups on the extra points. It was a bad snap, and they missed the extra point, so it's 40-34, and Chapman only has to score a touchdown and kick the extra point to win the game. However, that did not happen because Clinton held the Panthers on downs, and on fourth down, Amari Grant stepped in front of the Chapman pass. He didn't intercept it, but he knocked it down to wrap up the victory. You know, Clinton entered the game 1-2. Chapman was 0-3. Both of these teams play very tough 3-region schedules. And so I think that Chapman will probably do better than expected when they get into 3-region play. It was a big night for Clinton running back Javon Cook, who was just scored 3 touchdowns, had 215 yards rushing on 20 carries, never lost a yard. Clinton's quarterback, Owen Glenn, threw a 69-yard touchdown pass to P.J. McGowan. But it was kind of the game that defense forgot. Clinton finished the night with 477 yards of offense. You might have been able to predict the fact that 379 of them were on the ground. And Chapman had 407 yards. And it was just as I said, Clinton led the whole way to Chapman tied it at the end of regulation on a Josiah Copeland 7-yard run with 41 seconds to play, tying the game at 34-34. Clinton will play host to the Daniel Lions next week at Wilder Stadium, and but it was a fantastic football game at Wilder Stadium tonight, and a crowd of probably about 3,800 to 4,000 watched it as the Red Devils. They've still got 2 non-conference games. Next week's Daniel, then they visit Union County before the Region 1 series starts. But it was a fine game. I enjoyed it immensely, and I probably would have enjoyed it slightly even if Clinton's lost, but it's not much sweeter because the Red Devils came out on top.
You got it. Give me the name of the running back again and his yardage.
Javon Cook, he gained over 1,800 yards as a junior last year for Clinton on the state championship team. But tonight, he had 20 carries for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging 10.8 yards a carry, and his first touchdown was 50 yards.
Woo! That sounds like Clinton football right there, and they're getting it back together. Okay, Monty, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate it, Phil.
Thank you. Monty Dutton with the story on the Clinton win tonight. David, as we go to break, how about the Red Devils? You think they got enough to make another deep run to a championship?
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe. They got to get better defensively, but they got time. They're giving up more points and yards than that. I mean, when he said Chapman had over 400 yards, that raised my eyebrow. But you know, there's a lot of football left, and they know how to coach, and they'll get them better.
Yep. They get that running game going. They're hard to beat. All right, more to come. We'll get the story on the Greenwood win, the Fairfield Central win, update more scores. We'll be back after this break.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st, and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners, so the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in South Carolina. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the SCHSL and the South Carolina Athletic Administrators Association.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
Are gonna lose big at LSU. Lose Gators. Gators loose, Gators loose. Okay, we're back. High school scoreboard. Let's quickly get back to our reporters. Graham Simpson with the story on the Greenwood game tonight. One of the best games in the state, Graham, 36-30. Eagles flying high.
Yeah, I think Chris Blair, former voice of Greenwood, now LSU, approves of your song right there, bumping in.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Tristan Lewis, 387 total yards tonight, really put Greenwood on his back. It was a close game. Greenwood had, we're down for most of it, but 140 penalty yards, 15 penalties, really cost Greenwood. They're shooting themselves in the foot the whole game. But what the turn of the game was a block punt returned for a touchdown. The kicker for Lexington is fantastic, Gavin Kovac. He's 5'11", 230. He calls himself the thicker kicker on Twitter, and he was putting the ball in the – he made a 49-yard field goal, and he was putting the ball great all game. But Kamari Griffin, our strong safety, was rushing the kick and blocked it, returned it for a touchdown. Greenwood got a 2-point conversion. The defense held on. Another great receiving game from Jay Duncan, over 100 yards, and the sophomore Desiree Christian, over 100 yards as well. It was a hard-fought game. Stuart Young and Chris Liner, two old buddies from the Lakelands back in their day at 96 and Saluda, and it was a great football game. Lexington's very good. They're in a really tough region. They've had a really tough schedule. Greenwood was the third-ranked team in a row that they had played, so props to the Wildcats. They played their hearts out tonight, but just came up short.
Excellent ball game. Great report, and thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. Let's go to Travis Jenkins. Travis with the Fairfield Central game tonight. What a ball game. 29-22. Travis, the Griffs pull it out.
Yeah, terrific game in Winsboro tonight. And I would say, I think I can safely say you saved the best for last because there's probably still somebody coming on after me.
Only one.
Yeah. So look, it's a 14-6 Fairfield Central lead at halftime, despite the fact that that Louisville had run 44 plays to Fairfield's 23 and had double the yardage they did. The difference was Louisville turned the ball over 3 times and had 2 12-plus play drives end with no points in Fairfield territory. So 14-6 at half, Fairfield Central. About midway through the third, Louisville puts together a 14-play drive, score a touchdown, 2-point conversion, tie it up. Fairfield Central answers with an 8-play, 75-yard drive. Just kind of back and forth here. They get in the fourth quarter. They're hanging on to a lead, trying to run the clock out, actually, or at least eat it. Fairfield faces third and long at around midfield. Jay-Sean Culp comes up with a huge sack, one of 3 he had on the night. That forces a punt. Louisville goes 7 plays, 61 yards. Cowser to Culp for an 8-yard touchdown pass. That ties the score. Fairfield gets the ball with under 2 minutes to go, scores in 3 plays. Diggs, their quarterback, snuck it in from a yard out. But Louisville drives 50 yards, gets to the 25-yard line, but then throws 3 straight incomplete passes, and their defense comes up with a sack of Matthew Cowser to end it. But yeah, terrific ball game. Cowser threw for 307 yards tonight. Jalen Colt caught 10 passes for Louisville. So really good effort for them. Coach Usher not super pleased with a couple of calls, including a non-call on what he thought should have been pass interference in the end zone on that last drive where they could have tied the game and sent it to overtime or gone for 2 and won it. But he was super proud of the effort. Should have been. They played a great game. They'll play Andrew Jackson next week. Not sure who Fairfield has, but Louisville will take on AJ.
Travis, as always, man, appreciate it. Look for you next week.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Great job with that. And quickly, let's head to the upstate. Justin Mathis at the Chesney game tonight in the upstate, and it was a 28-21 win over a team from North Carolina, RS Central. And, Justin, great to have you with us. Tell us quickly how Chesney won this one.
Well, it was, if you like running the football, this was your game to go watch. First score didn't happen until 10 minutes left in the first half, where Chesney broke on top with a running touchdown by Evan Reese-Lauder, their do-it-all quarterback. This guy is elusive. If you like watching Lamar Jackson, just think about that when you're watching this kid. He is electric running the football. RS Central tied the game and went into down to the wire in the first half. Chesney scores on the at the halftime buzzer. Lauder scrambled around for a 9-yard touchdown. Then Chesney got the second half kick, took it back for an 85-yard return. Then RS Central made it 21-14, and then eventually tied it with 6:06 to go at 21-all. And then Chesney, with a quick strike, Evan Reese Lauder ripped off a big gainer that set up a 2-yard plunge by Cale Thrift. And so I just got this stat from my colleague Andrew Eisen of Upstate Prepcast. RS Central and Chesney combined for 79 rushing attempts in the game.
Ooh.
So, but Chesney was able to make that score stand up at 28-21. The Eagles are 3-1, I believe, on the year, and I think they can give the Red Devils a run for their money in Region 1-2A.
We thank you so much. Great job, Justin. Talk to you next week from the ball game that you're covering, most likely Dorman, and you have yourself a great weekend. Dorman. Thank you so much. Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up for us. David Shelton, thank you for being with us tonight, sir. Hope you have a great weekend.
We're going to Charleston Southern's game tomorrow, and hopefully the Bucks can get a win.
Playing, who are they playing? Lindenwood, right?
Lindenwood, yeah, conference.
Yeah, all right. Good luck with that. Thank you, David. Have a great weekend. Great stuff from you. Thank you for all the callers tonight. Thanks to all you players, coaches, and fans. And thank you, Plummer. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you next week.
WQXL